It's probably the most common computer story in sci-fi. We build one that's super intelligent and it snaps and tries to kill us all. But what would really happen if computers got a lot smarter and we reached the point where humans became the slaves, not the shepherds? Some people call that moment a singularity. It's a term probably first used by mathematician John von Neumann, who, before his death in 1957, talked about how the progress of technology seemed to be speeding up, how it gives the appearance of approaching some essential singularity in the history of the race beyond which human affairs as we know them could not continue. And he'd never even seen the internet. The acknowledged modern champion of the singularity is computer scientist Ray Kurzweil. He argued that the law of accelerating returns in technology would lead to an exponential growth of computing power and, eventually, computers that rival and exceed human intelligence. After that, well, blogging visionary Cory Doctorow called the singularity the Rapture of the Geeks. And like any futuristic theory, there's a fair few definitions of it out there. I like the poetry of this one from The New Scientist though, who say, although there are variations, most people who subscribe to the notion of the singularity believe that when it comes, we will upload our consciousness into a computer and live forever. It will be the death of death. And for a singularity like that to happen, we need two things: computers that are as smart as us, and the ability to upload our brains to them. So, could computers be artificially intelligent? There are all sorts of tests designed to pick up on an artificial intelligence. One of the most famous is, of course, the Turing test, named after mathematician Alan Turing, who first proposed a test in 1950. In its modern form, it's more like a contest to see if a computer can trick human judges into thinking it's one of them. In 2014, one machine did manage to pass. The Eugene Goostman program convinced 33% of the human judges that it was a 13-year-old Ukrainian boy. The thing is, if we're talking about AI, we need to decide what sort of AI we're looking for. Eugene is weak AI, a computer that merely simulates human intelligence. It looks like it's smart, but it's not really. Strong AI, on the other hand, would be something more like Alan Turing originally imagined, creating something that really is smart. Strong AI effectively says that any sufficiently advanced program could act as a mind. There'd essentially be no difference between what you experience when you think and what the advanced algorithm does. Obviously, if the aim was to upload our brains and live forever in computer land, we'd need strong AI. But up till now, our efforts just don't seem to be cutting the mustard. We have some computers that can do amazing things. They can drive cars, play chess, give Netflix recommendations, but they do it all by following relatively simple algorithms. If they sometimes do seem to act like people, it's usually because they're being dumber than we'd expect a computer to be. In a more hilarious development, the team building IBM's supercomputer, Watson, had to wipe part of its memory after it developed a swearing habit, thanks to it learning from UrbanDictionary.com. Our efforts at conscious AI are even less impressive. Perhaps one of the problems is that we just don't really understand how human consciousness works. But we are making headway on specific bits of conscious AI. We're starting to teach computers to see. And as half of human brainpower goes on visual processing, that's a good start. Plus, we're now running neural simulations on computers too, although we're starting small, in trying to create a virtual brain of the nematode worm, which has only 302 nerve cells. We're working on the human brain too. In 2013, researchers in Japan and Germany used a supercomputer to model 1 second of the brain activity of 1.73 billion nerve cells, which works out at around 2% of the number in a complete human brain. And it took them 40 minutes to run that second on 82,944 processors. There is a project to simulate the entire human brain, but the Human Brain Project comes with a hefty £1 billion price tag, and it's only barely off the ground. Over at Ohio State University, they're tackling artificial intelligence in a different way. In summer 2015, they reported that they've grown an almost fully formed human brain in a lab for the first time. So could going about creating an intelligent yet artificial mind be cracked by mapping computerized systems onto an existing biological format? So what happens after the singularity? Should we be afraid? Well, it depends, really. Even though a malevolent AI wouldn't likely have a body, the world today is so automated and connected that it could cause real dangers to our physical world. Just look at the damage caused by the still officially mysterious Stuxnet virus, which managed to wreck the centrifuges in the Nantes uranium enrichment plant in Iran. But maybe we'd be okay if we gave the AI rules. Well, author Isaac Asimov covered that for us when he came up with his famous 3 laws of robotics in order to protect humans from their metal knives. Law 1. A robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. Law 2. A robot must obey the orders given it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And Law 3. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. I say 3 laws, but he did also decide later he needed a 0th law that made sure AI also protected humanity as a whole. Sci-Fi site IO9 tracked down some actual machine ethicists, yes, they exist, to ask what they thought about the 3 laws. Sadly, they weren't keen. They favoured cooperating with robot intelligences and, basically, trying to get along fairly with them. I'm just hoping that when the Singularity comes, we're ready. And just in case that's sometime soon, I'm going to start treating my laptop and phone a whole lot better. Do you really have any idea where all your data actually is? And if you tried to delete it, would it really ever vanish?